It's AX700 time. Welcome back, part 2. I've been meaning to do this video for quite a few weeks now. I'm sorry I haven't. I've had a cold, I've had a cough, I've had man flu, I've had everything, and I need a haircut. So, you know, I've been trying to stay away from cameras, but you know, today I'm just going to do it because there's so much I've got to talk about. First of all, if you've recently subscribed, thank you very much. It's very cool. 100 and something subscribers now, up from 20 from the last video. There's a lot of love out there for these type of cameras, which I think is amazing. And I want to talk about that at the end of the video, but I want to get straight on to the important bits. And that is, I've been playing with this camera a lot since I made that last video, and I've sort of got a bit more used to it. I've answered a lot of questions that I had in my own mind. But what I want to do today is talk about one important aspect of it, and that is the audio, how to get the best sound. And I know audio, to me, and probably to some of you as well, is a very boring thing to talk about, but it's a very important thing. If you don't get audio right, then you know you might as well pack up and go home. Now, the audio, as we know, as present, is on here. It's on this tiny little microphone on the top. So in the last video, I gave you some advice, and that was to go and buy. And you know what? I still can't remember the right name. I think it is the XLR-K2M. It's a little adapter that, if we flip this open, goes onto this, the multi-interface shoe on the top of the camera, and it then gives you two professional XLR inputs. XLR, those round... Let me get one. Here we go. So, that... Focus, is an XLR cable. And that connects to a professional range of microphones that give you superior audio. Now, I bought one of these adapters, but as you can see, it's not on the camera, and that is because I sent it back. I wasn't happy. Why? It worked beautifully, and we got lovely sound out of it, but the problem was, and you know, this is the biggest issue for me and why I love this camera so much, and that's to do with the design. When it goes on the top, and it's not just meant for this camera, it's a universal adapter that works with anything that's got the multi-interface shoe on it from Sony, but as soon as you put it on the top, it rubbed your fingers when you tried to use the rocker, which for me, that was it. It was a big fail. Maybe I've got big hands, long fingers, I don't know. But for me, it didn't work, so that went back and I went to plan B. Now for me, plan B is using this. This is a microphone I've had for quite some time. Again, you can mount it on this multi-interface shoe. It won't do all the clever stuff. It won't take all the signal wirelessly, but then you just plug it in via mini jack. And this is the Shure VP83 with a lovely furry cover on it. This is a great microphone. A lot of people use Rode. Rode are very, very popular, but I like the Shure because it just metal. It's just everything about it is just, it feels quality, it's lovely, and it produces really, really nice sound as well. So, that is the microphone that I've been using. Now, if I don't want to use that, and I want to put a lapel mic on someone, I can either use a mini jack type one, which is unbalanced, so it's not great, or I can use this, which is a radio mic. I know you can't see it yet, it's coming, which is a radio mic. It's a wireless transmitter. Here we go. This is the URXP03. This is a wireless receiver. Now, the way that you'd usually attach this to your camera, it should have a little metal clip on the back, is to put it and clip it here. You can angle the antennas up, but clip it and angle it just there on the side, then run a cable from there into your mini jack, or if it's a camera with XLRs, into the XLR. But because we have this camera which has this multi-interface shoe, we can attach this, which is a SMAD-P3. I hope you're taking notes of all these model numbers. Let me show you what this is. You see these magic pins on the back? Well, these talk to the multi-interface shoe, and it takes this wireless receiver, which slots in, screws on, he says, trying to make this look as easy as possible, but the screw is spring-loaded. There we go. And let me show you how this goes on. Multi-interface shoe flap open, radio mic receiver on, twist to lock into place, and there you go. You have got a single channel wireless receiver. So you can use one of these, and this is the UTXB03. This is a pocket transmitter with a clip-on lapel mic. So I'm holding everything so far away that you can't see it, but hopefully you can see that there. This is one of the Sony professional type radio mic kits. And this then you can wirelessly clip on someone, and you know, you've got your professional great quality audio. Now, I should point out, we have got two antennas on this one. It's not a dual channel receiver, but it looks for the strongest signal. So the antennas are constantly swapping over, looking for the best signal to take to the camera. So that's really cool, but I made a mistake. I bought this ages ago, and I shouldn't have bought this. I should have bought this, which is the URX P03D. Now, the D means dual, so although we've got two antennas again, and it's the same setup that it uses this, but this is slightly different. This is an SMAD P3D. The way this works is this will receive 2 channels, and 2 channels is, you know, it's just, if you're going to do it properly. Buy this one. It just, you know, you might say, oh, I'm only ever going to use one radio mic channel. Well, you know, that might be the case, but I reckon you will need 2 channels at some point, and this just makes that possible. So that works the same way. You've got the same contacts at the bottom. That slots on to your FDR-AX700, and it gives you 2 channels of audio. Now, I want to step back a moment here, because there's one more thing I want to show you. Let's do that first, actually, and that is this part here, which has got many names. It is a plug-in XLR adapter. So let me grab here. This is my Rode NTG1 microphone. This plugs in to the back of this here, like so, and that then gives you wireless boom. You can see there's a boom pole attached to it. You can take that off if you want. Let's do that. And let's put that on the floor, and then you can see you've just got a handheld stick mic. Hello. I know it looks as big as my head, but that's because I've got it a bit too close. Yeah, you can see what I mean. Anyway, so that's really cool. These things have got lots of names. They are called dongles, but most commonly, and excuse me, they're known as butt plugs. They literally pop on the back of an XLR mic. The Sony one's great because it gives you phantom power. So it's something like an NTG1, you can put that on and you can just go with it. Sennheiser make a similar in their Evolution EW100 kit, but that's a thing called an SKP100. That doesn't have phantom power. You have to spend extra to get their SKP300, which does have phantom power. You can do it without phantom power, but then you need something like an NTG2 or NTG4 microphone, which is longer. I like the NTG1 because it's shorter. So there's that. I only have these 2 transmitters, so I have this one and I have the lapel pack, which is this one. But if I want to radio up 2 people, what I do is I use this, which is the Rode lapel mic, which takes these really clever mic-on connectors. And the reason I bought this this Rode one instead of the Sony ECM44 or ECM77 is that you can swap the cables. These get broken, they get ripped, they get shut in cases, all kinds of things. But this is really smart. This unscrews like that, and it unscrews from the other end. The other end's tighter because I keep changing this end, and then you can swap cables, and cables are different lengths. Now, these are things called Micon connectors. This is a Micon 5, which is an XLR adapter. Please don't ask me to name the other Micons, as in the numbers and the adapters, but you can get mini jacks, locking mini jacks for Sennheiser radio mic kits, Roses I think, or Limos. Anyway, lots of different connectors, different types of kit. So going back to what I'm saying is that I will take this, I should really wear my glasses when I do this, plug that onto so, and then you've got another lapel mic, although the transmitter is a little bit bigger. Now, what I like about this technology is this works throughout the range of Sony cameras. So the camera that I use, which we're talking about here, is this little beauty, the AX700, but also my other camera, which is the Sony Z150, and let's just film me filming you. There we go, that's the Z150 just there. Maybe I should do a video about the Z150. It's an absolutely brilliant camera, and again it has that same setup with a multi-interface shoe on the top. And then my big camera, which is this beast of a thing. This is a Sony PXW-X320. Now, the shoulder mount cameras are sort of, you know, they're you know, news people use them loads, but I love them. They're big, maybe I'm old school. They're big, they've got lots of buttons, they're easy to operate, batteries last and you know, still last, go on for hours. Which brings me back to this Z150. You know what, I'm going to do a video about the Z150 because I think it is an absolutely phenomenal camera. And the thing I love about the Z150 is if you use the Sony NPF 970 batteries, you get almost 7 hours of recording time. I mean, 7 hours, and that's true. That's not something that, you know, it's not a marketing thing. It just goes on forever. It's an amazing camera. It's slightly bigger than the AX700, The focus isn't that same phase detection focus that the AX700 has, but it's very good. It uses the same Exmor RS sensor. It's very similar to the NX80 in the specs, but it's got the better sensor, it's got high speed on it. Overall, it's just a great camera. Anyway, but you didn't come here to listen about that, you came here to listen about the AX700. Now, that takes me back to one more thing. And sorry, I was talking about that beast of a camera. This one, again, I'm digressing, I do this quite a lot. The X320, that has a slot-in radio mic receiver, which receives 2 channels. So my audio kit, which is just strewn across the sofa here, works with all 3 of these cameras. So I can use it on my X320, I can use it on the AX700 and use it on the Z150. Why 3 cameras? Well, it's the right tool for the right job. The X320's big, batteries last an age, and to be honest, if you pitch up with that, you can charge more money because it's professional. The Z150 is a lovely camera. That 1-inch sensor gives you better dynamic range. It's beautiful. It's a great camera, and I just love it. I think everything's great about it. You've got 3 rings for your focus, your zoom, your iris. It's just easy to operate. Again, you've got more real estate, you've got more space on it with more buttons and switches. And then the AX700, which is the the diddy one, the dinky one of the range, where you can take the eye cap off, you can take the hood off, and it looks like a regular consumer camcorder. Now, consumer camcorders, this is something I'm going to quickly touch upon because I went into a shop this weekend, an electronics shop here in the UK called Curry's PC World. If you're in the UK, that's an electronics shop. If you're outside the UK, it's an electronics shop. And they sell, computers, dishwashers, everything, fridge freezers, cameras. And the camera section was full of DSLR and compact cameras and camcorders. So I thought, well, let's go and have a look, let's have a play, because I like technology. And I went to have a look at the camcorders, of which they had 2. Both on sale, and a sign next to it saying massive savings, must clear. Now that tells me something, that camcorders have so fallen out of vogue, and you just need to have a look at what everyone's shooting on nowadays. DSLRs, 5Ds, GH5s, GH5Ss, A7S Mark IIs. It's all about that shallow depth of field. But for me, it's just a bit annoying. The thing I love about cameras like the Z150, which I'm definitely going to do a video on about, is that you've got XLR connectors. Like the AX700, you've got built-in NDs, and you've got a huge zoom range. I've got a GH5, I love my GH5, but I love that if I take this out, there's ND filters built in, so I'm not carrying around filters. I love the fact that although it's a fixed lens, it's 18 times, and that gives me, quite a range. That's on 4K. If I decide to go to HD, that's 24 times the clear image zoom, and that's pretty special, isn't it, for something this size? About 2 hours, let's say, on the FV70 batteries, which are these stock batteries that come with it. But nonetheless, a great camera. But this type of technology has fallen out of vogue, which why I'm so impressed. So many of you have watched my last video and actually clicked that subscribe button. Please help me keep making these videos. Please click subscribe below. Join me on the camcorder revolution as we're going to tell more people about this type of kit and why it's absolutely, maybe we should keep it a secret, maybe it's actually too easy to use. Because for me, the nice thing about this camera, that camera and that camera is you can actually concentrate on the story and not so much worry about what you're going to rig here or rig there about it. You can just grab it and go. Anyway, that's something else. The last thing I want to mention is NX80 versus AX700. Quality-wise, yeah, I've had a play with an NX80. From what I can see, quality-wise, they're the same. There's nothing in it. When you move to that Z90, you're getting that 422 10-bit in HD, which is the special thing. You've got the SDI, so that does step the game up a bit, but it's a lot more money as well. For a while I was thinking maybe I should have bought the NX80 or the Z90 because of the handle. I really miss handles. The Z150's got a handle, this has got a handle. I like handles. I like picking it up and carrying it around. Now, what bothers me on my X70, which is the older version of the NX80 and the Z90, more closely related to the Z90 I suppose, is the handle. And the handle's very useful, but for me I want this camera to be small and discreet. And when you put the handle on, it takes away the internal microphone. So this, as we mentioned earlier, that internal microphone on the camera gets turned off when you put the handle on. So you have to put an XLR on. So you've gone from something neat like this, which now has a handle on the top, which I only want to carry it around with, but then you have to put an XLR mic, so you bulked it out a lot more, it looks a lot more professional. Canon XA series, XF series, no XF is fixed, so XA series, when you put a handle on, it's got a built-in microphone. What a good idea. Canon C100, what a fabulous camera. That doesn't have any microphones built into the body, but if you put the handle on, it's got a microphone. Sony, please, if you're listening, next camera that you make like this, one of this series, which was probably quite a few years ago, let's have a handle with XLRs and also with a built-in microphone at the front. So if you don't want to use XLRs and just capture scratch audio, you can do. So that was it. I hope that's answered a few of your questions. If you have any more, comments below. If there's any other videos you'd like to see me make, then please ask below and I'll see what I can do. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching. And if you are watching and haven't subscribed, please click subscribe. If I get 1,000 of you subscribed, then I can start earning beer money. That might be a pint on a Friday night, which would be muchly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching and bye.